So I figured out my fiancé is a dirty cheater. How did I figure it out? Well, a couple things. Perfume smell in the air, a steamy shower after I left for work. But it didn't end there, because once I discovered this deceitfulness, I didn't say a word. All I did was mount evidence after evidence after evidence and decided to get my own sort of revenge. And when I tell you what I did, some of you might think I went a bit too far.
Hello everyone, my name's Derek. I grew up in a big family with 3 older brothers. As the youngest, I wasn't even close to any of my brothers except for Scotty, who's 2 years older than me. Every other brother was more than 8 years my senior. Scotty and I were best friends. Sharing everything since we were babies. He protected me from bullies, and I helped him out if he ever got in trouble with my mother because I was her favorite child. We were inseparable from the moment I was born until we went to separate colleges. Due to the college workload and the fact that we were in separate states, only meeting during the holidays, we grew apart. I felt a sense of sadness about this change because my instinct to seek help was still to call Scotty, only to realize that we weren't as close as we used to be. So I tried to move on with my life, now without Scotty. I guess the biggest wedge between us was driven by Scotty's behavior towards anyone I brought home. When I was in college, I brought my girlfriend home for the holidays. Later, she revealed that Scotty tried to hit on her. Initially, I wasn't sure. I thought she might have misunderstood his intentions. However, it happened again, and I brought another girlfriend home for the holidays and she reported the same thing. Scotty made her feel uncomfortable behind my back. It was so bad that she broke up with me in the middle of our stay and went back home. I guess what hurt the most was that Scotty would do something like that. Because we used to be so close. I confronted Scotty about it, and he just laughed it off and claimed that my girlfriend was too sensitive. If they minded his behavior, stating that he was just having fun. I found his response unsettling, yet I warned him not to engage in behavior that clearly made people uncomfortable. In response, he told me to mind my own damn business. Hence, I refrained from bringing my girlfriends home. Another reason I did not introduce Lily to my family before we got engaged was to avoid Scott scaring her away. I met Lily at my new job. She was smarter than me, and I was in awe of her from the moment I talked to her. She always seemed otherworldly and completely out of my league. I felt incredibly lucky to have her, and perhaps I did not want to taint that with Scotty's unwanted advances towards my girlfriends. I wanted to shield her from the aspect of my family, and in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have, and it might have spared me a lot of heartbreak. I proposed to her 3 years into our relationship, and she instantly, without even a thought, agreed. I was ecstatic on cloud 9. I could not believe that this wonderful woman would want to spend the rest of her days with someone like me. However, I was truly grateful. I decided to bring her home, wondering if she would warn her about Scotty or not, and I decided against it but kept my eye on her throughout the dinner. I didn't leave her side for more than a few minutes at a time. After dinner, my mom and both my older brothers told me how much they liked Lily. Even my older 2 brothers' wives loved Lily and told me not to mess this one up. I was so happy that they loved her. However, when I entered the room to retrieve Lily, I saw her talking to Scotty. Cautiously, I asked Lily if she was alright and if she would like to leave. She gave me a bright smile, and all the tension in my body left and told me that she was ready to leave. Later, I asked her what she was talking about with Scotty, and without missing a beat, she told me Scotty was just asking her about her job. Whew, I sighed in relief, thinking that Scotty must not have tried to ruin the relationship of mine, knowing how important Lily was to me. So we soon delved into the wedding preparations, and our weekends were filled with cake testing, choosing the perfect flowers for the venue, a decision that took us quite a while, Under the added pressure from the office, I started working overtime. But Lily reassured me that it was all right, and I promised her a better work-life balance after our marriage. She told me not to worry, as we spent every second of the weekend together after all. However, on one occasion, I returned home a little earlier than usual and noticed steam in our bathroom. It struck me as unusual because Lily typically showered just before bedtime. It wasn't yet time for her to retire. At first, I dismissed it as paranoia, only for Lily to take a shower just a few minutes after I noticed the steam. My heart pounded when I realized what it insinuated. I wasn't sure if it was enough proof or if it was even proof at all. Maybe I was being paranoid. Perhaps a friend of hers was taking a shower just before I arrived. When I asked her if someone had come over just before, she looked at me with confusion and innocence, stating that nobody was home except for her. Wondering why I asked, she insisted I tell her. I shook my head, dismissing it as probably nothing, but she persisted. I then made some excuse up, mentioning that I had smelled a different perfume in the living room. As she visibly relaxed, I became tense. She laughed it off, explaining that maybe I was just picking up on her new perfume. I agreed, telling her that must be it. My suspicion seemed to grow as I consistently found steam in the bathroom at the same time 2 more times until it just abruptly stopped. It felt as if someone had started taking a shower a little earlier than before I arrived, perhaps to avoid running into me on their way out. A strange feeling settled in my stomach every time I had to see Lily. I also observed that she had become even more touchy and loving, which she attributed to my overtime and our limited time together unless we were preparing for the wedding. The last straw was finding that lighter in the guest bedroom. The room also smelled of foreign male perfume that was definitely not mine. Both Lily and I were non-smokers, and I felt a heavy weight on my chest as the realization hit me. Lily was cheating. Struggling to hold back tears, I managed to discreetly slip the lighter into my pocket just as Lily appeared at the door, beckoning me to bed. Yesterday, I decided to come home and hide even before Lily returned, just to make sure that I was thinking was real and not paranoia. I tend to be on the suspicious side, and I wanted to ensure I wasn't jumping to conclusions about someone who meant so much to me. I concealed myself in my bedroom, preparing to retreat to the closet if Lily came near. I shouldn't have worried as she went straight to the guest room with none other than my brother, Scotty. The moment I heard his voice in the living room, nausea gripped me, and tears streamed down my cheeks uncontrollably. Overwhelmed, I hurried out of the house as quiet as possible when they locked the guest bedroom. All this happened yesterday, just a week before my wedding with Lily. I still can't believe that the person I assumed to be the absolute love of my life was cheating on me with none other than my pervy older brother who used to be my rock when we were kids. I can't believe it. I simply can't believe it. Even thinking about it makes me want to cry. However, I won't let them get away with it. This engagement is over, even though Lily doesn't know that yet, but she would soon find out. And by the way, I'm not going to let either of them get away with hurting me so deeply. They will regret ever doing this to me, especially Scotty. I'll make sure he regrets ruining our already deteriorating relationship by sleeping with my fiancée. Does anybody have any suggestions or advice on maybe how I can get these two back? Please, let me know. Update number 1. Hello everyone, I want to say it's me, Derek, back for an update. I told you that I found out about my fiancé cheating on me with my brother in the last update, and ask you for your suggestions to get a bit of revenge. A lot of you mentioned that I should talk to my brother. He seems like he wants to get closer to me like we were when we were kids. But how does that excuse what he did to me? It doesn't matter if he wants to rebuild our relationship to what it used to be when he hurt me so deeply. How does that even make sense to you guys? I mean, come on. Anyways, I noticed a pattern. Every time Scotty came around, he took a shower before leaving my house. 3 days ago, I went to my office after Lily had already left. She usually kept her products in the cupboard above the toilet in the bathroom, while I stormed mine in the shower instead due to limited space. It dawned on me that Scotty must be using my products before leaving my house, so I added chemicals that would cause hair loss if used. That's right. I put it in the shampoo bottle and inserted a secret camera in the guest room so that they won't notice. I quickly got out and bided my time. I hid in my car in the parking lot of my apartment building so I could watch Scotty and Lily enter the building, and then I watched Scotty leave after the deed was done. His hair did look washed. I didn't know if I felt satisfaction or grief. It was difficult for me to go in after I knew that Scotty had just been in my guest room with my fiancé. Lily greeted me as she usually did, but I felt a seething anger inside of me. I knew I was going to make her pay just like Scotty. I pretended that everything was alright, complimenting the food she made or the outfit she tried on like I used to, all the while scheming her downfall. I didn't have it in me to watch the video I recorded, so I did not. It would have only made me sick. I waited for Lily and Scotty in my car the next evening, however Scotty did not appear. I knew that the shampoo worked, or at least started to work. 2 days later, I get a call from Scotty saying he would not be able to come to the wedding. I faked being sad, and told him that he had to come. After all, he was my brother. I made him feel guilty and manipulated him, and I claimed that everyone would talk if he didn't show up. I also told him that I wanted one of the most important people in my life to be present at my wedding. Just because we had lost our connection did not mean it meant nothing. So I faked a few tears and he reluctantly agreed. Now that I've made sure he shows up with a bald head, I plan to leave Lily at our wedding. I'll be projecting my fiancé's infidelity on the projector, humiliating her and Scotty. This is the kind of revenge they deserve for messing with my emotions and trust. Update number 2. Hello everyone, it's Derek and today was my wedding that I left Lily at. Let me catch you up on my revenge against my fiancée Lily and brother Scotty who cheated on me behind my back. The ceremony was scheduled for the late afternoon, but we were supposed to start getting ready in the early afternoon. I pretended like everything was fine and kissed Lily goodbye in more ways than one. I let my close friends make jest as we all got ready and everything was going great. I revealed the situation to my best man. He was horrified at Lily and Scotty's behavior and agreed to help. I pretended that everything was fine when my family asked if I was nervous. Scotty slapped me on the back and called me lucky, while I tried my hardest to not punch his smile off his face. As I stood in front of the family, Lily walked down the aisle and I felt nothing but anger towards her. I smiled as I was supposed to when I saw her in the wedding dress for the first time. Yeah, she did look radiant. I also glanced at Scotty, who was wearing a cap to hide his now bald head, looking at her. Having these two people in the same place as me absolutely disgusted me. But I did everything right, just like I was supposed to if this were an actual wedding I was supposed to finish. We stood in front of each other, and when it came time to say I do, I was silent. Loud enough for everyone to hear, I announced that she did not deserve me. I'd always loved her in our relationship, treated her well, and never looked at another girl. Yet she broke my trust. The guests were horrified and Lily's eyes bulged out of her sockets. I asked Scotty if he would like the hairstyle I helped give him, turning him red in embarrassment or anger, I can't tell. I questioned Lily if she really thought I wouldn't notice that she was cheating on me, and then I laughed in her face and walked down the aisle and back, leaving Lily at the altar alone in tears. It was my best man's cue. Pop that button on the project of the video I recorded of my brother and now ex-fiancé right there on the projector. The guests were even more horrified. It was fortunate that Lily had insisted no kids would be allowed at the wedding, I assume. I hid behind the curtains just outside the room and saw Lily rush past me to her suite, crying loudly. Additionally, I noticed Scotty making his way out of the venue towards his car with my other two brothers following him and yelling at him for doing something like this to me. I thought I would feel satisfaction, but I did not. Instead, I felt cheated on and angry. It didn't seem like an appropriate punishment, especially for Scotty, who was supposed to be my rock. My anger for him still knows no boundaries. Update number 3. Hey guys. It's Derek again, and I left my ex-fiancé at our wedding yesterday. Both my sister-in-laws rushed to my side to comfort me immediately, while my brothers tried to deal with Scotty. However, they're wasting their energy because I've said, I got something more planned for him. My sister-in-laws were very kind to me, and for the first time since I found out about Lily's infidelity, I felt like I could be vulnerable enough to burst out crying on someone's shoulder. They tried to make me feel better by ordering ice cream and watching some of my favorite documentaries that had no romance at all in them. My two brothers and mother joined me by the end of the evening. Nobody brought up Scotty or Lily. We just had pizza for dinner, like we used to when we were young. I wish I told them sooner about this. It would have helped me feel a lot more grounded, and maybe I would not have felt so suffocated in my own body as I've been feeling for the past few days. They bid their goodbyes, promising to come over the next day, and I reassured them that it was all right, as I had known about the affair for some time now. They told me that it would not be an issue, but by the end of the night I was crying because of the love and support they showed me. By the morning, the feelings of love and support dissipated when I opened the door to find Lily, standing right there. She explained that she was there to retrieve her belongings with her sister, and I let them in briefly, and I contemplated leaving the house, but hey, I was still in my pajamas. So I sat down on my couch and just tried not to notice Lily running around the home. I heard the noise of a vase breaking and looked up from my phone to find Lily standing there with tears in her eyes, staring at me. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of asking anything, so I stayed quiet as tears ran down her cheeks. She pointed a finger at me and told me that I was the reason she was humiliated in front of the family and friends. She informed me that her father disowned her and she was being shunned by her friends. Yeah, that news spread like wildfire, and now everyone knew. She was being forced to leave the city to save face. Unbeknownst to her, her breakdown was giving me some sort of satisfaction. I told her that she was the reason this was happening to her. If she had not cheated on me, and well, broken my trust, none of this would have ever occurred. I urged her to take responsibility for her actions instead of placing the blame on me. She screamed that I could have talked to her in private, and I told her that I hated her and wanted her to be hurt and humiliated like she hurt me. At this point, her sister intervened and forced Lily to get back to packing. I sat back down and put my headphones on until they left. I wasn't in the mood to talk or, well, even look at her face. I'm glad that she's leaving the city. This way, there would be no way of running into her, and it would also mean that she'll have to stop sleeping with Scotty. Later that day, my brothers came over, and we played some video games. They quietly and patiently informed me that her mother was disowning Scotty. Well, I nodded and just continued to play. Update number 4. Hello everyone, it's Derek again. Today I enacted my final revenge on Scotty. In my opinion, he has not been punished enough, so I orchestrated all of this for him. Nobody had heard from Scotty for the last month since I revealed this secret to everyone, and nobody tried to contact him either. He was disowned, and everybody in the family hated him for his crappy behavior. I assumed that he was just hiding away at home, so I followed him to the liquor store in my car one day, and he looked bad. He was wearing dirty clothes, and he didn't even have a cap on. His head was full of bald spots, leaving only a few patches of hair here and there, and I laughed when I saw it. He looked ridiculous. Anyways, he appeared depressed when I first saw him. Well, and there he was. The way he was driving, he seemed drunk as hell. I had the spare key to his car, and the car he owned for the past 10 years. So while he was in the store, I snuck into his car and planted more than the illegal amount of marijuana in his glove compartment. I got into my car just in time to see Scotty make his way out with a huge bag of alcohol bottles. I made my way home, bidding my time for him to get caught. I knew he would be caught by the way he was driving over the limit and without any regard for himself or pedestrians. So today, I get a call from my brother informing me of Scotty's arrest. He told me that he had a large amount of marijuana in his car and that he was stopped for driving while intoxicated. I knew, being mixed race, that we were more than likely to face severe consequences for the possession of drugs, and my plan had worked. We went down to the police station where we were allowed to see Scotty. He begged us to believe him that he did not own any marijuana. However, my brothers reminded him that he was still drunk driving and could have severely hurt someone. He kept on rambling about how someone had set him up, claiming that he had never bought marijuana before in his life. We all ignored it as the ramblings of a drunk. His official hearing is in a few weeks, and during that time, the entire family has collectively decided not to bail him out for his irresponsible behavior. Until then, I guess he'll rot in jail. Now, I believe my revenge is complete, and I feel lighter as if all my responsibilities have vanished. It seems like I've inflicted the same amount of pain on everyone who hurt me as they did to me in this situation. Nobody has heard from Lily, and now Scotty will rot in jail for possession of drugs. And I think that's it. I know many of you did not agree with my revenge plans throughout the journey, but I needed to punish them to move on with my life. They had knowingly hurt me deeply, and they deserve to be hurt back like this. Final update. Hello, it's Derek again, and I believe this is the last update. I'm here to share with you where I and everyone else has been. Scotty's trial ended a month ago, and he will be in prison for the next 6 months with a fine of $2,000. I feel satisfied with the sentencing because nobody in my family even attended the trial, not wanting to show him any kind of remorse or support. It was hard on my mother, a soft woman who feels responsible for raising her son completely wrong. I reassured her that she raised 3 perfectly fine sons, so the fault clearly was not on her. Well, my brother and their wives, along with me, have been keeping her company during this hard time. My older brother's expecting his first child, which has diverted my mother's attention to my sister-in-law. She's been constantly spoiling her daughter-in-law, and we're all trying to keep her attention on that. Now that Scotty's been sentenced to prison time. Lily and I have some mutual friends, and I found out that she was waitressing in a small town. Her family has completely disowned her. She's barely kept in touch with any of her friends. On the other hand, I'm doing just fine. The apartment felt tainted, so I bought another place and moved in. I got rid of everything that reminded me of Lily. I even stopped using the brand of shampoo I used to because it reminded me of bald Scotty. But hey, I'm doing fine. I've tried going on a few blind dates set up by my friends, but it feels too early. I've decided to stay single, work on myself for some time. A few of my friends have invited me on a trip, and I think that this will really help me clear my mind and move past this bump in my life. That's it for the final update. Thank you for reading about my life's trials and tribulations.
So Scotty ends up going to jail for 6 months for a hefty amount of marijuana and also driving under the influence. Guys, I want to know what you would have done in this position, because I will be honest, some of the people in the comment section were saying that, you know what, we understand the position that you were in, but you might have gone a little too far, OP, by basically planting drugs on someone. Anyways, I just want to know your thoughts about that. I think we can mainly all agree the fact that the brother cheated is just sickening and disgusting. I mean, that's your own blood, but anyways, I want to know your thoughts about that, guys. Drop it down below. Let me know. Are you guys into these revenge stories? If you are, I actually have an entire channel that's based solely on revenge stories. You can find it in the description below. A lot of people don't know about this channel yet. I think it has about 10,000 subscribers, so not many people have really found it. However, go give it a chance, check it out, it's in the description. The name is Mr. Reddito's Revenge. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, and just remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.